Hey everybody, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. As mentioned, I was going to do one final video, maybe one more, talking about the extras that we're going to be selling in addition to the RV's pricing, maybe included depending on what it sells for. So I wanted to cover some main topics today for questions: tires, tire health, talk about the roof a little bit, talk about the engine, talk about the generator, talk about some of the maintenance items and some other tips and tricks that I have learned along the way related to the dumping of the sewer for the black water, which is, all of the bathroom stuff, as well as the gray water tanks, which is our sink and our showers, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. So let's talk about starting the generator first. All right, here we go. So as discussed last time, the generator is right here on the front dash. You can also start it from outside, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to prime the generator since I have not had it running today. Let me turn this down. Okay, I'm going to prime the generator, hold it down for 1, 2, 3 seconds. Light comes on. Go ahead, turn it up. You'll hear it turn on. Everything's turning on inside the RV. So let's go outside. I've also unpacked most of my stuff that we've been using on our travels, just tons of stuff for, a great ready to go experience for camping. So I'll cover that probably in a different video, but we have everything to make it easy for camping for a family. So the other questions I received about the RV was related to having the basement empty. So I'll cover that in a little bit as well. So let's go to the generator and focus on that first. We'll also talk a little bit about the windshield. I think it's amazing. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. It just bends. It's awesome. Okay, generator. Here's all the maintenance stuff. So I kept all the fun stuff on that side, and this is for the repair and sewer and water. So let's cover this in just a minute. Okay, so the generator is right here. See, it flips up. Let's look at this. It might be a little hard to hear me. I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel. It's kind of hard to open with one hand, but it pops off right up here. There we go. Put this right here. So I'm going to come back here just a little bit since it's so loud. But what we're going to see here is several things for maintenance, and you'll see the schedule is right on the service area here, as well as the oil you should be using. Over here is where you're going to see the button to turn it on and off, as well as the breakers. And oil changes and filters are extremely easy to change on the gas versions of these generators. I'm assuming diesels are similar, but I chose gas for my rig because it is by far the easiest to work on over a diesel, from what I've been told. Plus, most mechanics work on gas and not necessarily diesels. It is so similar to the Ford trucks. All right, so let's go look a little bit closer. Right here, you'll see the different oil, and it is so loud, but that's why we have all the insulation and everything in here. Changing the oil is so easy, besides the filter. So I'm going to back off this a little bit again. But as you can tell, it's running very well. I said the generator has like 600-700 hours on it. It's going to go for probably longer than this rig, and the engine will last. Those things are built very well. But changing the oil is really easy. You just basically make sure that you have the wrench. You need a special wrench that is like a claw wrench, because there's not enough space to grab it with a normal wrench, which is right over here underneath. There's a little filter. I'll show you that in a minute when I can, when I get closer to it. And then you just basically turn a little dial right here to drain the oil, and then there's the air filter right above it. So really easy. It took me, for my first time, about an hour to do it, just because I didn't really quite know how to do it. Watched a couple YouTube videos, and it was really straightforward. So I'll just show you really quick where the filter is, as well as where that dial is to drain the oil, and where to put the oil in. Maybe I should have done this in the first place. Oh well. It's what you get with unedited and unplanned videos. So starting, stopping, the different breakers for the generator. As mentioned in a prior video, the generator will give you alternating current or AC current, which is what you use for your home appliances and when you plug into your normal receptacles or outlets. It will also give you 12 volts, which will charge your batteries in both the house as well as, I believe, in the chassis side, which is where the engine is. So as mentioned, you have the filter, which is right here. You take it out right here. Again, not a lot of space, so you'll need a special wrench. They're like 10 bucks on Amazon to make that easy. You put the oil in right here, and then you just literally turn this knob. Let's see, I forget which way, this way. And you just keep turning that, and then it'll empty the oil out from right here. And you just gotta have your oil pan basically ready to take that. Filter, really easy, just pop it off. And you can see the different oil viscosities. And basically how much oil to put in. They make it pretty easy to do this on your own, and sometimes RV places are backed up by a month and a half, 2 months, and you don't always have the ability to wait that long if you're camping or if you're full timing it, which is why I think it's important to understand some of these basics. So that's basically where that's at, and then this just pops right back on. Let's go ahead and do that. Pop it in, there we go. So that's the generator. That's a Cummins Onan 5500, which again is an upgraded version from the standard 5000 that comes with a lot of the Class A's. Let's go ahead and close that up. Now let's talk a little bit about what this guy is for. This is the converter. I didn't really understand the differences between all the different parts of the RV electrically until as I, obviously enjoyed it over the last 4 years. So the converter is used when you're plugged into shore power. And what it does is it converts normal AC current, which is what you use for your regular plug-ins, into DC current, which is what charges your batteries. So I upgraded this. The original is in one of these bins over here, and it still works fine. But I upgraded this because it has more amperage. It has 80 amps. And it also has 3 different modes, as you can see here: boost, normal, and storage. And that allows you to have different voltages so your batteries can stay healthier for longer. You see more pass-through storage in here, and this is that big cable I was telling you about to plug in for the generator. So when you're plugged into the generator, it plugs in here, and when you go into shore power, you're just going to run it through this little spot here and down into your 50 amp receptacle, or if you're using any of the adapters, which are these guys, 30 amp or 50 to 30 and 30 to 20, you can put those together and always get a surge protector. You don't want to trust your RV to the quality of electricity at an RV park. Okay, so we covered the generator, we covered the converter and the charger. It's an 80 amp charger, so it charges your batteries nice and fast, which is why I like it. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the roof, as well as some of the exterior stuff. So the exterior is in pretty good shape for the age. If you haven't done a lot of RV shopping, definitely go check out some RVs that are locally, by you. And you'll see that none of them are perfect. They're going to have, it's kind of hard to see in this light, but maybe I can do it here. You're going to see some of that gloss gone, and that can happen from just age and sun, but also, I think I took mine to a truck wash, and they used some brushes on it and whatever they use to wash trucks, and I think it took some of that gloss off. So they say that you can, polish it, but that's a pretty big job to polish all this fiberglass. This is the same type of fiberglass that you're going to see in a boat, I think. Don't quote me on that. So again, I'm not a professional. These are not edited videos. They are just recorded and go. So you can see here, this is the painted side. It's pretty nice. The paint overall is really quite good. The fiberglass is in great shape. The vinyl's in pretty good shape too. You'll see like small little, age and a little bit of wear and lightening of the vinyl that's on there. You can see here just a little bit. It's a little bit lighter than this one. I don't know why, but it's a little bit lighter. This is probably the paint. Yeah, it looks the same. I don't know. So we have all the fiberglass side, which is all of this. Instead, you can kind of see a little bit of that right here. So it's nothing that's a problem, it's just cosmetic. And you'll see that on most RVs that you're gonna find. You know, I've seen them on much newer RVs, 2015, 6, 7 years newer, have the same types of wear. You see it here. There you go, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, I'm showing you all the imperfections. And again, I encourage you, if this is your first time shopping for an RV or looking at one, go look at local ones. You'll see this is all standard stuff. The big stuff is really, you know, functionality and mechanically and electrically, how is the RV doing, as well as the roof health and tires. Speaking of which, tires, let's cover tires really quick too. So as mentioned in prior videos, the tires were purchased for my first purchase actually in 2019. I bought them, they're Michelin's. Where is it? Michelin right here, 235 80 R22.5s. You know, the chrome is in good shape. You can see the treads are really nice. You know, it's got about 10,000 miles, 9,000 miles technically. But all the tires are healthy. I have tire pressure monitor, aftermarket ones on this, so I can keep an eye on the pressure. You can see there's no cracking. When I got the original RV in 2019, like January 1st, there was cracking on the original tires, and I didn't know any better, so I'm glad I can teach others. But yeah, the tires are very healthy, the rubber is very good, no issues there, and you'll see that all the way around. And these are 22.5s, and they're dually tires, so they have 2 tires in here. Most of the weight's probably more in the back, and then you're going to have the steering tires up front, which these are also 235 80 22.5. So you can see these are also doing great. All the chrome is in great shape. Again, you're not going to see any type of cracking or unhealthy anything in these tires. There's still plenty of life on them. Here's the rest of them, again, just to be consistent. Tires, again, very good. Chrome's looking great there. You can always use a little bit of a cleanup. I mean, that's with anything. Let's move these guys out of the way. Here's the final tires, and one of these caps came off. Again, I kind of like the way it looks without a cap. My daughter did that. She was real sad, but it's all good. So you got more, again, tires here. Again, great shape. Plenty of life on these tires. Again, no cracks, no nothing. Okay, so we covered tires, we covered the generator, we covered the converter. Now we're going to cover a little bit about the paint. I touched on it earlier, but I'm just going to talk about that a little bit more. You're going to see most of the wear on painted RVs. This RV has a half paint job, and the other part is like fiberglass with vinyl kind of stickers on them, and that was an option. You know, I think it's the default for this model. And then you had a full body paint job, which was an upgrade option, which the owners obviously didn't get. So what you're going to notice on RVs that I've seen, at least, painted ones, you're going to see a lot of wear on the top up here, as well as on the back and on the front of the RVs. So like on, you know, this one's, you know, no different. You're going to see just a little bit of the clear coat here. Again, it's cosmetic. Clear coat, clear coat, clear coat here. Again, some cosmetic stuff, and maybe there's a way that you can spray over that. I don't know. That's beyond me. Other than that, it's you know, pretty good. You know, I mean, it's nice and glossy still in other areas. All the way around. This side, you're gonna see it's a little more glossy on the fiberglass side, and you might be able to buff or polish that. I don't 100% know. That'd be more of a detailing question, or, you know, if you're doing that, great, awesome. You'll see here a little bit of that loss of gloss right here. All the painted sections are, you know, still very shiny, very nice. I'll open these back up and cover these in a little bit for storage, but you can see here, you can see some of that right there. Again, very normal. Just check out any RV that you're gonna look at that's more than, you know, new, and you're gonna start to see some of that stuff. All right, so keep going. And you're gonna see these are all the seams. I put ProFlex on this. I like ProFlex over the Dicor maintenance because ProFlex you can put on top of the old stuff, whereas with Dicor you're supposed to take it off, prime it, and put new stuff on. So I thought this would be a lot better, and it's got a ton of amazing reviews on Amazon. So you'll, again, that's called ProFlex, and that's, you know, for you know, the seams, which is great. So, and I went through and did that this last year in 2022. So see here some of the vinyl sticker, just a little bit of cracking on there, again, very common, but the rest of it's looking really nice. You know, the windows are still in wonderful shape, and all the seals are as well. Let's see more of, again, this is all the painted side. This is all painted. This is a fiberglass. You can feel the difference. Fiberglass. Again, I'm trying to get the right angle so you can see some of it. Again, it's in pretty good shape. You can go compare to other ones that are similar in age, and said you'll see what I mean. All standard wear. You'll see a little bit of, you know, sun fading for the color on this. This you can pop off, and you could probably paint that. I was actually planning on doing that, but never got around to it. Again, there's more important things sometimes too. Okay, let's talk about the front paint. Again, you know, the mirrors, they've faded pretty nicely over the last 14 years, but that's probably something that someone could fix pretty easy too. I don't know. A little bit of fading here, up there. That's probably the most that lost for the clear coat. You're gonna see a little bit right here. This here is not paint, it's just like a cheap plastic kind of chrome panel for chrome spray, and looks like there's just little bit of water that got underneath that little coat, and that changed that color. You'll see here just a little bit, and we're back around to the other side. So overall, I think it's in, you know, exterior wise, it's in really good shape. From a visual standpoint, I think it's an attractive RV and well within its normal expectations for wear on exterior. You know, definitely still wax it and do the normal thing. Plan a whole day. It does take a long time to do that. So let's go ahead, now that I've covered the exterior paint job, as well as what to kind of expect there. Again, it's still quite shiny overall, and you might not even notice some of what I've shown you today if I wouldn't have pointed it out. But again, I like to really kind of, you know, state everything that I see on the RV overall. But again, it's, you know, very nice looking RV in my humble opinion, of course. Okay, let's talk about the roof a little bit. And to get the roof, you just climb right up here. You see the rear cameras right here and the 3 lights. And you want to make sure that you seal these lights and the front ones periodically and check that. You know, RVs do take maintenance, just like a house. I mean, it's just normal, and unless someone tells you, you don't always know those things. Okay, here we go. All right, here's the roof. If you've never looked at an RV roof before, definitely look at more than this one. It's good to kind of see and understand the different types of roofs. This is a fiberglass roof. The roofs that are in this GeorgeTown are a one-piece laminated roof, so they're very strong, and they also have an aluminum framing for their box, so it's aluminum frame for the whole thing, and then they place a roof on top of it with foam and insulation, and then the fiberglass top up here, which is very strong. You know, obviously if water gets underneath this fiberglass, you're going to see a little bit of poofing, called delamination, where it pops off the wood. There's a wood piece that's underneath here that's called decking, and then the fiberglass adheres to that decking, and the glue over time, if it's wet or if it is old, will start to lose that stickiness and start to come off of that wood. So that's called delamination, and that can happen on roofs, you know, especially older ones. So you'll see here that there's a lot of Dicor and seals You know, I've even sealed up this stuff here on the sides. This is called the gutter. And the gutter is where, you know, rain will kind of go and then drip off and go off the edge. Okay, let's go all the way up here. And I'm out here in Lake Pleasant in Arizona. Man, is it just gorgeous. Look at that, got sailboats out here, got cacti, so cool. Got a marina down here, so I'm parked at a really cool site. Anyways, okay, so back to the roof. Back here, like I mentioned, it's great. You'll see a little bit of delamination here. You know, it's not soft or anything. Everything here is great. As you can see me walking comfortably on this, all nice and solid. You got the solar panel here. These are aftermarket, and these are really cool because they cover your vent, which is inside here for the Fantastic fans. So when you're driving, you can have this, the vents open. And why this is important is this stops all the air from pushing the vent closed. So I didn't always, you know, understand why these are needed, but that's why. And then you can get some fresh air coming in or sucking air out or whatever you want. So these are some of the plumbing pipes for the sink and for the bathroom. This is, I forget what they call it, the skylight for the bathroom and the shower. So I'm 6'1", and that's where my head goes when I'm showering. It just makes it more roomy inside that shower, which was important for me. So you'll see everything is sealed, you know, quite nicely. Like this stuff isn't peeling up or anything like that. So the whole back part of the roof here is quite good. You know, it's where we start seeing a little bit more, and even here is good. You start seeing a little bit more up here, and I can still walk on it comfortably. So when I worked with the Flex Armor guys, they gave, you know, the roof overall a 5 out of 10 for health. So the back part of the roof, you know, is fine in their opinion. It's the front part of the roof that they want to basically reinforce. They could just spray their product on and it would stop the problem of any leaking inside of the RV. It says very minor leaking, but any leak is too much. So you want to be very, very careful with, you know, sealing every year and checking your seams, like with any RV's health. So the RV Armor guys are going to basically take the fiberglass up, and they're going to reinforce and replace any wood here that isn't, you know, structurally, you know, really solid any longer. And then they're going to pour their product on and do a lifetime roof. And I've seen some of their products. Again, it's Flex Armor, and I've looked at RV Armor and Flex Armor, which are competing products, and RV Armor, in my opinion, is not as good as Flex Armor, but that's just my opinion based on the research that I've seen. So let's talk a little bit about the front AC. I don't know if you can see this. As you can tell, the roof's not bad. It really isn't. Like, there's not like big cracks or tears in it or anything like that. There's a little bit of a depression here, so like a 1/2 inch probably, where if you had the RV perfectly flat, the water is going to sit right here, and that's important. Normally it's not a problem, but I think there's some water that's getting in where the AC kind of connects to the house side. So maybe someone could fix that and deal with it the way it is, but that's beyond me. I'm to the point where I'd rather just get this 100% fixed by a professional and let them handle the rest of the way. You can see here it's all nice and strong. Not a problem, still strong. This is new. They have the old crappy TV kind of over-the-air antenna here before. It was like the big guys, and they flop down and flop up. Terrible. These are much better, and they're streamlined and easy. So the old antenna used to be here. I took it off, you know, thinking maybe it was part of the leak, and that's nicely sealed up, as you can see here. Nice and hard, no concerns. The old DirecTV dish used to be here, and I thought, well, maybe that's part of the issue. And I don't use that. I don't think people do. You know, Netflix kind of killed DirecTV and Hulu and everything else. So I took that off, and we patched all that nicely to make sure that there was, you know, nothing. And this is all strong too. So it's right here where it's a little bit softer, and you can kind of see that in the video here. And, you know, I think what's happening is it's soft right here. Not a lot. It's not super soft, but it's soft enough where it's enough of a concern for me to bring up to somebody. And, you know, some RVs, you can't even walk on the roof because there's no structure to them. This RV has tons of structure, and it's reinforced aluminum. And then again, that's got that fiberglass roof that goes on top. That's one big piece, and I have that in some of my pictures as well as in the manufacturer brochure. So other than that, you'll see everything's been maintained nice for the seams, as you can see here, all the way down. You know, so, and a lot of times what you can do is you can kind of paint over this with a nice sealer, which we've done in the past, but just to the point where now I think it just needs to take that next step. But it's a big roof. So the rig overall is close to 39 feet. It's 38 feet and 4 inches. So here's a picture of the roof overall. You'll see all the seams are, you know, quite good. And this may look alarming to you, but this is very normal for roofs on top of an RV. So definitely take a look if you don't believe me at other RVs, and you'll see that they're going to have seals and all these screws and all the different spots where you can kind of creep in. So that's the RV roof that everyone's been asking about, and that's why I priced the RV so aggressively. Is, you know, I'd like to just let someone else handle it and take it the rest of the way. I'm willing to discount the RV, you know, appropriately to cover the cost of that roof. Whether you want to do it yourself or you have someone that can, you know, my loss is your gain on that. Or bring it to the pros at Flex Armor, which I would recommend. Great guys. And I still may do that. I don't need to sell the RV. It's just more of a, if it's the right time and the right person comes along, it's going to be a good fit for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and come back down here. Okay. Again, just so beautiful out here. Look at that. The view, you can see the mountains back there and the sailboats, just real quick. So pretty. Look at all that. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, come on down. Be real careful here. One-handed is quite tricky, but I got it. Okay, and it's got the hitch right here. So I've never towed on this. You can see it's really in nice shape. I don't know if it's really had much towing at all. And then you have the spot for where you're going to plug in your trailer and everything. So yeah, and the rock guard. Let's see. So we covered the roof. We covered the tires. We covered the generator. We've covered the rims. Let's cover a little bit inside here for some of these compartments. These are closing up on me because of the wind. Okay, let's cover each of these. As you can see, it goes all the way across, tons of space. This one's gonna have less space. This is where you're gonna find your fresh water tank. Kind of see that in here. And then you can get to the pump, which is right behind this. And this is where you're gonna put your antifreeze in when you're winterizing the RV. There's a little cable in here that comes out like this, and you just flip a little switch here. Really nice. I like how GeorgeTown did this. And you just flip this little switch right here, I believe, and basically it starts to suck out of the antifreeze, the little pink antifreeze, and you just open up your faucets and let your water pump that through the RV, and that's how you can winterize the RV. Don't forget, you got to also winterize the water heater, which is basically just drain the water out. So that's that. Here's some more storage. A lot of these water heaters have really crappy plastic kind of tags there. So here's the inside of the water heater. There's just a little bolt right there that you just unscrew. It's a big guy. It's like a 1 inch, a 1 1/16 inch bolt, and you just basically unscrew that. The water comes out, and I think you change a little lever in there too. I don't remember offhand, to basically make sure that you don't have a bunch of antifreeze going inside your water heater. And this is where the fridge is, so you can take this off and see in there for the fridge. More storage here. As mentioned, it does go all the way across. That's where I put the spare. Again, the paint job on this is, you know, again, really nice, I think. Okay, here we go. All right, and this is where the inverter is. So this is the inverter that was replaced. There's a remote controller inside, and you can turn it on from here too. You can hear it turn on. It's very healthy. It's brand new, I think, 2022. I replaced all that this year. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off though, since I don't need it. So you got 36 watts that's running right now. It's kind of hard to tell upside down. Here we go. Nice quality product, Bluetooth enabled, the whole works. So, and then you got the Dometic controller for the big awning. Okay. Lastly, so we talked about the inverter, we talked about the converter, we talked about the generator, we talked about the roof, we talked about the exterior paint, we talked about the imperfections. Let's talk a little bit about the windshield. As you can see, it is a big panoramic windshield. It's just gorgeous. It comes all the way around. Let me go inside and show you that. So the windshield, as mentioned in my description, was replaced in, I believe, 2020 by Lazy Days. And it's just, you know, it's got a big view to it. You see it just kind of wraps around. Really cool view. So when you're sitting, you get to really get the full experience when you're driving. You know, a couple things I noticed is that there's a little bit of like pop-up right here, but I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. It's just the rubber. So I don't think it's anything to be worried about. All the way around, looks good. So that's the windshield. Super nice. I love how you can see so much of what you're driving. And I said I have the cover for this at my home, and I can ship those to someone if they need those as well. Not a big deal. Okay, let's see. Lastly, potentially lastly, I'm going to show you the battery control center. Let me find the key. So this is the key that you use to open up your hood as well as your battery control center. I also put my keys up here, and you're going to see two of them. This is the key that you use to lock all your basement basically doors, and then this is your gas tank so that you can make sure no one's siphoning gas from you, of course, which I don't know if people really do that, but you never know. Okay, so it's going here, and as I mentioned in one of my other videos, it is heavy, so bear with me here. Oh boy. Okay. So I had questions about battery age. These batteries were purchased 2 months ago. I'm assuming they say somewhere on these batteries, but yeah, 922 2 months ago. They're great. Yeah, there's two of them. They're the big guys. They're deep cell batteries. I don't know if I can see, you can see here. So here we go. So 12-volt batteries, got a little light here, it's convenient. You can see here that I have the solar controller. So let's walk through this. So this is the battery control center, as I mentioned before. There really shouldn't be anything you need to do inside here. I have labeled everything because the prior owner had a lot of the wiring wrong over here. So I looked at the schematics on the Forest River forum and worked with these guys, RV Custom Products, and I got the schematics on how to plug everything in and how it all connects. So you'll see everything, like it says, to generator, direct to battery, to chassis, battery, terminal, etc. So it all kind of is explained and documented, and that was important for me as I was troubleshooting. When I first bought it, the RV was dying overnight or over a week or two. And it was because the old inverter was sucking juice from these batteries because it was just staying on. And then this wasn't working right because this is the job of the control center, is to cut the house off just in case there's a draw like that. You leave the lights on, whatever, and cut, you know, it off so that the chassis battery, the engine battery, is not affected by that draw, you know, leaving the light on in your house. So this wasn't working right and it wasn't cutting things off. So I replaced this entirely with a brand new unit and then worked with John to basically get this all wired correctly. So that's working perfectly now. It works exactly like it should, and that's brand new. And you can see everything is working in here as it should. Pro tip, in the colder weather, you're going to notice that the furnaces do run more, and those are pretty heavy electrical draw furnaces for the fans. And you might notice that in the morning, your coach might be dead. So your house, the coach side, may be drained, and it's really easy to fix. Since your coach, your house, and your chassis side, your engine side, are separated with the battery control center, just turn your RV on, and then once it turns on, it'll bump the voltage up, and then turn the generator on and turn your car off. Either that, or if you want a different fix to last all night, just get more batteries, or get bigger batteries, or don't camp in the cold. or don't boondock. Otherwise, if you're plugged in at a resort or at home, obviously that's not going to be a concern because you're not running off batteries. We already talked about the inverter. Remote is right here. I haven't mounted that yet by any means. Let's see what else we have that was important for questions. Let's see here. I'll let you guys look at this while I think about that. Should only be a second or two. No, I think that's it. The biggest part of this video was the roof and talking about the exterior. You know, talking about any cosmetic imperfections. I mentioned a little bit here on the light in a prior video, and this here again, just, you know, cosmetic things that should be expected in an older rig. You'll see a little bit on top up here. You can see that right there. Again, just cosmetic paint. You know, health-wise, from a mechanical, she's good. And the windshield was sealed all the way around as well, as you can see, all the way up and around. And all of the slide outs have these. They're all in good shape. I think there's a little bit of wear starting on these, but again, you're going to see that on any aging RV. Hi, Irma. Okay, I think that's it. I hope this was informative for the RV overall. I do have a couple more tips and tricks, which is related to those of you that haven't maybe used an RV for dumping or the sewer side. So I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm planning on selling that should go with the RV. You'll see in here, this is where I put all of the sewer stuff, and you should be wearing gloves. Get little gloves like this, like these. They're just cheap throwaways, you know, gross, right? Just wear some gloves. These are really cool. Sometimes people don't realize that you might actually be going uphill to where you're going to dump. So when you're camping at a resort or with hookups, you basically put, hi Irma, you put this right over here. And here's a good pro tip for you. If you want to keep this completely open so it always drains without smelling the poop, all you got to do is simulate what residential homes do. And all that means is go like this, right? And you're going to hook up in here. And it's really easy. I'm not going to necessarily do the whole thing, but you hook up right here and just have, you know, open it up, drain some water out, and then water is going to sit right here. So that's going to stop any fumes from going back into your RV because the water is going to block that. So that's just a nice little pro tip. But these guys are really cool. These are called Sidewinders, I think. Yeah, Camco Sidewinder. And then you got the Rhino stuff here. Again, really, really good stuff. And I got two of those because we have, this is a gray water tank, which is for the sink. Or if it had a washer dryer, but it does not. And then this is where the fresh water and the black water and everything else is filled as well as connected. You're going to see here, black water is right here, sewer connection. Always dump this first, and you shouldn't be dumping this every single time. Another pro tip, this is what I learned the hard way. Don't leave it empty. You want some water in there because obviously it's going to fill a lot slower than a shower or your sinks or whatever. So leave some water in there. Put one of those little tablets in that keep it smelling nice, and keep some water in there. Otherwise it dries out and it crusts on your sensors and you can't read anything. I did learn that you can fill it up with water and put some Dawn soap in there. Another nice pro tip. And let it sit for like a day and then dump it out, and that will clear out most of that crud. And there's some wands you can stick in there that will spray really fast, but get a little shield, otherwise you're going to spray yourself, and that's super gross. All right, so when you're dumping, black water first. If you're full, like leave it, you know, quarter to a half is fine unless you're extended camping. And then secondly, you got to close that up. And then you open up the gray water, which will be your shower and your sink in your bathroom, and that will clear out all of the, you know, excrements that are inside that and all the sewer type yuck from your tubes. So that's what you would use these guys for, and you can connect them all together. So to do that, you need to have a couple adapters. So I got the Y adapter here that allows you to have both areas connected. That area for gray water and black can all be connected at the same time with these adapters. So this adapter goes, I believe, like this. So you have this one connected and that one connected to that one, and then you connect it up with this guy right here, and this goes into where you're going to connect your RV to the hookups. You notice I have a few other adapters. This one's important. This actually goes in front of that piece for the black water, because sometimes you want to know that stuff's still coming out or it's done. So this gives you some insight to see, which is kind of gross to see, but it's better to see it than to take it off and find out there's leftovers. You know what I'm saying? So this guy here was a cool little accessory. Again, all Amazon, all Camco. When you get to some campgrounds, they're going to be really tight. So you just put this on the top of the sewer and you just turn it. So this gives you the ability to open up most campground spots. You say, well, what the heck is this black thing? The black thing here is for when you don't have something to screw into. The black thing is used to go like that. And you just kind of stuff it in as pressure fit. I always recommend putting a rock that's heavy over this just so it doesn't pop out when you're draining. There's nothing worse than draining your black water and it's spraying all over like this. Yeah, it's gross and a problem. I've done it. So other than that, you're going to notice I have tons of hoses. These are water only hoses. I do not use these for anything that's not potable. So you have potable water, which can go in your freshwater tank. And that's what these are rated for, is for fresh water. I still don't drink the water out of RVs. I always buy water from stores. And then you're going to have non-potable water, which is like what this one's for, which basically means you should not drink it. You should not put it in your freshwater tank. It's not, you know, cleaned and sterilized and filtered. So that's the difference. And you ask, well, when do you use potable and non-potable? Non-potable is like when you're spraying out your hoses here, and potable is when you want to fill up your freshwater tank. So a couple things with that for more pro tips that I learned the hard way, and I think it will be helpful. I have a couple adapters here. You never know the different pressure that's going to be at RV resorts, so having one of these gauges is super important. The last thing you want to do is use a resort's water pressure and have it blow, you know, any of your tubing in your RV and have some water issues, which has never happened to me, but I've always had this, and I bought all kinds of stuff when I originally started RVing. So this was, you know, really important. I use this every single time, and I like the one with the gauge versus this one, which is also a water regulator for pressure so that you don't blow out your tubes. And I also got a Y so that I can you know, hook up this if I want to wash the RV, as well as still have my water hooked up into my RV. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay. So other than that, you're going to see a few things here. You got city water fill. This is when you're hooked up at a resort or you have full hookups. You plug your water in with your water regulator, right? Really important. And this feeds water into your RV. And if you're doing the trick I showed you earlier, like this, you can leave your gray water open the whole time. And I would just, you know, you can even do it with your black water, but I always say close the black water and just let that close and just keep an eye on it. It's pretty hard to overfill that in a short trip. But you know, you never know, just be aware. So you plug your water in, and really important too, don't have your water pump on. You don't need it. Just the water pressure coming from the resort or your home, city water will be enough to push water through the whole RV. So when you're not hooked up, that's when you use the fresh water tank, and you basically, you know, I just put this so that the water doesn't run out. You plug it in here and it basically fills your 65-gallon freshwater tank on the other side of the RV. I don't use this. Black tank flush. I've never used that. And then you obviously have the outdoor shower, which is pretty cool. Great when it comes to rinsing off your feet from the beach or something. So it's washing your dog or whatever. Okay. And that was replaced in 2020 as well. Okay, so we've covered everything in here. Again, keep the black water closed, my recommendation. You can keep your gray water open as long as you're doing the trick here where you have the little down and up so the water sits at the bottom so your fumes don't come out of the sewer connection from the resort. So when the water does get full, for fresh water, when you're boondocking like I am right now, to get the beautiful experience like this. Again, so amazing. You don't get this at the resorts when you're fully hooked up. Inside here, what will happen is there is, you know, when the tank gets filled up, you can see the water level right here. These are the sensors, by the way. This shows full. If anything's above this, it's full. When it gets to here, the water will come out and flow down through right here as an overflow protection so your tank doesn't explode. Really important. So that's set up and that works. And then when you're obviously emptying the water out for winterizing, you're gonna unscrew this and let all the water drain. That's the lowest point of water. So that's basically the water connection and the pro tips I have to offer for the sewer connections and being fully hooked up and having those tanks open where it's always draining and your water is always coming in. Pretty nice to have that experience. I have a ton more accessories in here as well for water filters and other things that I've used over the years. And I didn't know about this. You can actually unscrew this, but you know, obviously turn off your water pump so that you're not spraying water through this. Then you can unscrew this and change your filter out if it does need to be changed out. So again, make sure you're not plugged in to city water. Make sure your water pump is off, and a little bit of water will come out, but it does a pretty good job. Unscrew it, you know, and replace it with a new one, and you're good to go. Okay, I think lastly, a little bit of the engine compartment. It's really easy to open up. Just open it up right here. Steering pump, check this fluid every time. Brake pump, check that every time. Or brake fluid, sorry. Engine air filter goes right here, so when you're changing the oil, change that. It's available at Napa Auto Parts and Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly's. Those are the main ones, and obviously changing the oil is pretty easy. Underneath I have pretty much everything you need, and you'll see that there's not a lot of space up here to put anything in. So that's why you use like little pumps like this for like the brake fluid, for example. I keep spare fluid for everything just in case. And then obviously for any change in the oils. You should always have tools as well as spare fluids, no matter what age of RV that you have, just to make sure if you do have a problem in the middle of nowhere or the resort, in the middle of your trip, you're covered. And nothing feels better than knowing that you have what you need to keep going. So, okay, well, I think that's everything that I can show and share. Not much else that I haven't covered in the RV. We've talked about everything that I can think of. If I missed something, please let me know. Yeah, this is it. Any questions, put it in the comments, send me a message, and we can go from there. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good one. Signing out.